Hello, and thanks for joining us for November's TLC Tech Time. I want to welcome those of you who are joining us live today, and also all of you watching the recording. We're happy you're here. My name is Erin French, and I'm an instructional designer in the Teaching and Learning Center. In today's TLC Tech Time, I'll start by briefly reviewing this month's Canvas in 5 video. Then I'll provide a Canvas demonstration, and finally, we'll open the floor for a discussion. If you're joining us live, please save your questions until after the demonstration has ended. Before attending TLC Tech Time each month, we recommend that you watch that month's Canvas in 5 video, because during TLC Tech Time, we'll expand upon what was presented in the Canvas in 5 video. However, this is certainly not required, and you're welcome to watch it anytime you have a spare 5 minutes. All previous Canvas in 5 and TLC Tech Time recordings are available on the TLC Learning channel, which is our YouTube channel. We have them grouped on a playlist for easy reference. We are putting a link to that playlist in the chat right now. If you're participating in the Level Up Certificate program, attending TLC Tech Time can help you to earn credits for Level 2 Technology. Each 30-minute episode is worth half a credit, and you can earn it by attending live or by watching the recording and self-reporting through our Qualtrics form. If you have not yet enrolled in Level Up, there's a link to the enrollment form in the chat. The November Canvas in 5 topic was course analytics. Canvas can provide you with data about your students' performance and engagement, and reviewing it can help you to support your students. Specifically, in the Canvas in 5 video, I showed you the weekly online activity tab, reviewed page views and participation data for one student, and demonstrated how to contact them through Canvas. In today's TLC Tech Time, I'm going to show you the other tabs in course analytics, including course grade, students, reports, and online attendance. Let's get started. First, let's locate course analytics on the front page of a Canvas course. On the right-hand side of your screen, there's a list of buttons, and course analytics is near the bottom. Canvas will then show you this sidebar that gives more information about course analytics, and I invite you to click on these resources for additional information. Right now, I'm going to minimize the sidebar and we'll focus on the course analytics page. The landing page in Course Analytics is the Course Grade tab. So let's explore what we can do here. First, we can see the average course grade, and below that, we have this search bar that will allow us to examine all sections or specific sections of our course, and we could also add the name of one or more individual students to see data about their grades. And I'll show you how to do that in a few minutes. Over here, we also have the Message Students Who button that will allow us to contact students directly through Canvas. Below that is a graph that displays the average course grade for each assignment, discussion, and quiz in the course. Each of these is represented by one of these dots. I can also check or uncheck these boxes to display or not display some of these items. Let's take a look at a couple of the assignments. This first dot represents the pretest in this course, and it's on the 100% line, meaning the average grade for this assignment was 100%. When I click on it, a sidebar will open with data only about the pretest. The average low and high grades are shown here, along with the number of any missing or late assignments. Here, one student submitted theirs late. If you wanted to contact this student, you can do that right here in Canvas with the Message Students Who button. That brings up this pop-up window. For this particular messaging, we have a few choices, including score range, missing, and late. As I mentioned, we're going to contact the student who submitted the late pretest, so I will click on the Late tab. It's already set up to contact that one student. If you want to double check who that is, you can click on the link and we can see that it's the student called Teaching and Learning Center who prefers to go by TLC. To contact TLC, I would paste in a subject and a message, and then I would click Send, and the message would be sent through Canvas to TLC's Canvas inbox. It will not connect to ATSU email. Because I'm not actually sending that message, I'm going to click the close button, and I'm also going to close this sidebar. I want to show you a second example about the week 1 pre-class video. Clicking on that dot reveals the sidebar again, and it shows us there were no late assignments this time. However, one of the students received only half of the available points, whereas all other students received 100%. I'd like to contact this student to offer extra support and encouragement. Again, I will click on the Message Students Who button, and to narrow it down to this particular student, I will put 50 and 50 in the range. And it dropped from the total number of students in the class to 1 student. Again, to contact this student through Canvas, I would enter my subject and my message and click send when I'm finished. Another feature of the course grade tab is comparing one or more students' grades to the course average. Here I have added the student TLC to this graph. There's not a lot of color contrast here, but the average for all students in the course is represented by the blue dots, and TLC's grades are represented by the green dots. For the most part, TLC has scored at or above the course average on most assignments, discussions, and quizzes. However, on this particular assignment, TLC scored a fair amount lower than the course average. If you wanted to contact TLC about this, you could use the Message Students Who button here, and you would send a message in the same way that I previously demonstrated. Let's move on to some of the other features in course analytics. As a reminder, we already covered the weekly online activity tab in this month's Canvas in 5 video. So I'm going to move to the Students tab. Here you will be able to see all of the students enrolled in your course, as well as some grade at a glance data, including their current grade, the percentage of assignments that were submitted on time, the date of their last participation, the date of their last page view, the number of page views in the course, and the number of participations. And you'll recall from Canvas in 5 this month that Canvas defines participations in a number of ways. For this course, it's submitting assignments, but it could also be something like engaging in the discussion board. Let's move on to the Reports tab. Canvas offers 5 reports about assignments, the class roster, and course activity. Each report is created as a CSV file that you can open in spreadsheet software like Sheets, Excel, or Numbers. Here it says the average data latency is about 8 hours. So that means anything that happened within the last 8 hours will likely not be in these reports because there is a time delay. Each of the reports has an eye with a circle around it, so you can preview the report structure before you run the report. By clicking on it, we can see how the missing assignments report will display. There are columns with student, course, and section information, along with the name of the missing assignment, the points possible, and the due date. In addition, it also says what date the assignment was unlocked if you are using that feature. To get back to the list of reports, click the X to close. Let's run the missing assignments report to see what it looks like. To do that, I'll click the Run Report button here. This brings up the Missing Assignments Report pop-up window, and it will give you the opportunity to filter the report. If you leave the settings as they are here, Canvas will run a report for your whole course, and that could be what you're interested in. However, if you want more specific information, you can focus the data that Canvas will provide in the report by using filters. Filters can help you to save some time and to more easily find what you're looking for. We'll click on the plus filter button, and we'll get 2 drop-down menus related to assignments. This filter would be helpful if you had a deadline for an assignment and you wanted a report about which students had not yet submitted it. For instance, I can see this being really useful for a large class where it's difficult to determine this information from a Canvas gradebook that seems to be infinitely long and busy. The first drop-down is how I want to filter the data by assignment, student name, or section name. I'm okay in this case leaving it as an assignment, but you may choose to do it by student name or by section, especially if you have more than one section of your course. The second drop-down menu is which assignment, and I'd like to check on the week 1 assignment. You can also add additional filters by clicking the plus filter button again. And if you do that by accident, decide you don't want that filter, you can click on the trash can and it will be removed. I think we're all set up here to run the report. I'll click the Run Report button and Canvas will automatically download a CSV file to my computer. Let's have a look. I have set up a comparison between what Canvas showed us in the preview and the report that was generated. All of the column names are the same between the preview and the report that was generated. A report like this containing more data could help you to see patterns for students who are not submitting assignments, such as when they started missing assignments in your course. Your spreadsheet software can also help you to focus on the data you need with its functions like column sorting. If you imagine a long list of students here instead of just one, you may want to sort on a particular column to aid you in interpreting the data. Back in Canvas, I want to show you what you can do with the other reports too. The next one in the list is late assignments. It will provide you with the student, course, and section information, the assignment name, the points possible, the due date and the unlock date, plus the date that the assignment was submitted, the date it was graded, and the date that grade was posted. The next report is excused assignments, and this one is very similar to the structure of the missing assignments report, except the data here is for excused assignments. The fourth report is the class roster report. In this one, you'll be able to see student names, student ID numbers, student information system ID numbers, the student's email, and the section in which they have enrolled. The final report is course activity, and this will show you daily interactions with course resources for the past 30 days. Again, we have student, course, and section information. We also have the content type and the content name, the number of times it was viewed, and the number of participations, along with timestamps to help you see the period of interaction with course content. The last tab in Course Analytics is online attendance. Canvas defines online attendance through institutional-specific engagement criteria with a course, like viewing a page, posting on the discussion board, submitting an assignment, or taking a quiz. If a student has met the requirements, then they will be marked as present on that day in the online attendance report. Online attendance can help you see weekly patterns more than the student's report that shows you only when their last participation was in your course. In this drop-down menu, you can select either week or day, and these arrows here allow you to scroll by what you choose in the drop-down menu, either the week or the day. As we have seen in other tabs in Course Analytics, there is a search bar here, and I have set this up so we can see the online attendance data for TLC. First, I want to customize the days that will be displayed in this report. Clicking here on the Class Days menu brings up this option where I can select the days that will be included for when my class is in session. You might want to look at Monday through Friday, as is shown here, or perhaps you want to see all 7 days of the week. Or you could check how many students engage on the day or days of the week that your course meets. I've added the weekends here, and so now this report will run with all 7 days of the week. And as soon as it loads here, we'll be able to look at TLC's attendance data for all 7 days in this particular week. There were 6 days not met, and we can see that TLC engaged on a Wednesday. Another feature I want to show you is Dashboard Actions, which is accessible through the three-dot menu here. You can refresh the online attendance data or download the attendance data. If you want to download it, you can customize that information through this pop-up window. You can create a PDF or a CSV file. With the CSV file, there are no additional choices for customizing the report available. You would just click download from here. If you would like a PDF, you can also select your page size and the orientation. Now, data will be exported for only what you see on the screen. In this demo, I have one student, so that's not really a big deal. However, with a class that has more than 6 or 7 students in it, you will want to mark this expand tables to show all rows so you can see all of your students instead of simply what is showing on this screen. This pop-up window also gives you the option to show this report in your browser, or you can download it. Whether you choose a PDF or a CSV, the report will take a few moments to generate. Here is a PDF report where I have covered real student names and the course section for privacy. It looks almost identical to what is visible within Canvas for online attendance, but you can see more rows at once depending on how zoomed in or zoomed out you are. This is a mock-up of a CSV report where I have removed the real student names and course section. The names of your students and your course will appear in the reports that you generate. This report includes the same columns as what we saw in Canvas, but the information displayed is different. Here, the amount of activity on each of the days is recorded numerically rather than with a green check mark or a red X. I hope this demonstration about the features of Canvas Analytics was helpful. Our content in Canvas in 5 and TLC Tech Time provides only brief generalized overviews. If you would like to get more individualized support specific to your own courses, please reach out to the TLC. We would be happy to help in an email or in a Zoom consultation. We'll share resources in the chat and in the YouTube description to help you get started.